Hello everyone, and welcome to this audio podcast. This audio podcast is part of a Labostix article. This audio podcast is part of a Helm raid. This audio podcast is part of a Mayhem and Trooper, and this audio podcast as part of a Storm Labostix production. In this audio podcast, a little bit around the literatures in around this peer reviewed and published works from 2015. So the range of psychosocial concerns of young people with CKD or chronic kidney disease and families has been documented for many years. Young people can be affected by changes to environment, placing them at high risk of poor psychological and psychosocial functioning. More recent investigations have associated coping strategies with the suppression of negative emotions and have demonstrated the positive effects of self management. It has been demonstrated and shown that early intervention to learn adaptive coping skills with young people suffering with chronic illnesses has advantages. Increasing young people with CKD Increasingly young people with CKD or chronic kidney disease seek personal sort of health information about illness in order to acquire self-care skills, and the experiences include not feeling normal, frequent absence from school, and increased sort of reliance in around sort of those around them. Coping strategies include sort of confrontational coping, support and self-reliance. Past research involving young people with CKD has often focused on quantitative methodologies such as scoring of quality of life or QOL. A number of external measures claim a number of external measures claim to provide objective information about the extent to which young people with CKD CKD stages 4 or 5 succeed in coping, including attainment in indicators such as relationships, employment, and further education. However, young people with CKD are also subject to feelings of helplessness and perceive a lack of control and a negative health outlook, resulting in failure of coping strategies. Personal perspectives from this population would help fill a gap in knowledge and inform future care. A variety of approaches have been utilized or used to understand the experience of coping. A study carried out by a team in 2004, sort of retrospectively in Japan. Involved mixed methodologies to collect data relating to coping strategies from patients with rheumatoid arthritis or RA. On a given day, all participants were invited to compose diary entries, and an online blog was also developed for each participant, so they could enter events on coping with illness. The online blog also enabled participants to interact with and analyze records entered. The team identified that using mixed methodologies to understand coping strategies in a population with rheumatoid arthritis was helpful. Was helpful, and it would therefore be intriguing to understand also coping experiences from other chronic illness populations. So, for example, those with CKD. That draws this audio podcast to a close. This audio podcast to a close. This has been an audio podcast as part of a Labostix article. An audio podcast as part of a Helm raid, an audio podcast as part of a Mayhem and Trooper, an audio podcast as part of a Storm Labostix production.